Let's send you down to the field and Aaron Andrews.
Joe, thank you so much. Richard, let me ask you the final play. Take me through it.
Well, I'm the best corner in the game. When you try me with a starting receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're going to get. Don't you ever talk about me.
Who was talking about you?
Crabtree, don't you open your mouth about the best. Or I'm going to shut it for you real quick. LOB.
All right.
That was Richard Sherman after the game with Seattle against San Francisco, and a lot of a response to that. And joining us now to talk about a bunch of things, Christopher Parker, our friend, professor of social justice and political science at the University of Washington. Welcome back, sir.
I'm happy to be back, Steve.
Well, always glad to talk to you. All right, yeah, this is a week where Barack Obama, was quoted in New Yorker magazine for talking about how, and I agree with this, by the way, that some people don't like him because of his race, just like, some people might not like me because of my race. I don't think that's a big controversial statement. I didn't read the whole article. I'm not sure how much he attributed to race for his lack of popularity. Seems to me he won 2 elections, and now his approval rating's 39%. I think it's who voted for him all of a sudden, turning against a black man in the White House. Would you agree?
Not totally, and that shouldn't surprise you. See, he was reelected with only 43% of the white vote, so let's be real. It's not like it was a landslide.
No, I didn't say it was a landslide, but I'm just saying that, these people who if you take the 43% of the white vote and you take the minorities who voted for him, in the case of blacks, it was like 95, 96, 97%, and he won, a well over majority of Hispanics. To have a 39% approval rating now, I don't think you could call it race.
No, I don't think you can completely call it race. That's correct. I agree with you 100%.
All right, cool. All right, now let's move on to this thing here, this Sherman case here. He's claiming that this was one-time thing, and people have called him or called his actions, his statement, the way he behaved, thug-like or thuggish. And here's what he had to say about being compared to a thug or called a thug. Let's go to 13 or 12, whichever you have up.
What's the definition of a thug, really? Can a guy on a football field just talking to people, maybe I'm talking loudly and doing something, talking like I'm not supposed to, but I'm not, there was a hockey game where they didn't even play hockey. They just threw the puck aside and started fighting. I saw that and I said, oh man, I'm the thug? What's going on here? Jeez. So I'm really disappointed in being called a thug.
All right, now let's listen to the next cut then also, because then he talks about the thug and the N-word.
The only reason it bothers me is because it seems like it's the accepted way of calling somebody the N-word nowadays. It's like everybody else said the N-word, and then they say thug, and they're like, oh, that's fine. And that's where it's kind of, it kind of takes me aback, and it's kind of disappointing because they know.
All right, so do you think that thug is being used here in place of the N-word?
Do I think thug is being used as a euphemism for the N-word? I think it depends on the context and who's saying it.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, a fan sitting at home tweeting out, hey, did you just see that thug on television say what he said and act the way he acted? I mean, you can't get inside the mind of someone, but, you heard what he said. You heard he was making kind of a generalized statement. He didn't say, as you said, that, it depends on who's saying it. He said that today thug is used as a substitute for the N-word. Do you buy that?
I do buy that. I buy it 110%. Have you ever heard of a white man being referred to as a thug?
I refer to, I used to refer, whenever I hear horrific stories of criminality or whatever, I'll call them thugs. Absolutely. I just don't see how race gets into this. He acted, how would you describe how he acted on camera after the game?
I think it was completely and wholly justified. The guy had just made a game-saving play. The guy was still hyped up. He had a beef going on, an ongoing beef with Crabtree. And so I didn't see anything wrong with it. As a matter of fact, I was just talking to a good friend of mine about that, and we both agreed that people are making much, much, much too much about this. I, for one, don't think he needed to apologize.
Well, you know, I have a son. By now he's a little, you know, beyond being influenced, I think, I hope, by how these athletes act in front of him. But he's 14. But if I'm sitting there with my 8 or 10 or 12-year-old, and this is how the hero of the game comes on, I mean, if Brady and you know, if Brady and Manning had a war of words and had a heated rivalry and dissed each other before the game or during the game, and then one of them threw a game-winning touchdown, you think they would act like that after the game because they're hyped up and mad?
Perhaps not, but let's use this counterfactual then. So you went there with the counterfactual. Let's continue with this.
Yeah.
Do you think had one of them said anything of the kind, even remotely similar to what Sherman said, do you think either one of them would have been called a thug? Yes or no?
I think they have a greater stature, so it may not be a true comparison. I think a lesser, I mean, as great a cornerback as he is, and he may well be the best, I don't think the average person knew his name much before, you know, this incident. So it's not like a Brady or a Manning, so it may be not a fair comparison. But I think, you know, I think a lesser player, not as well known, who acted like that, he might have been called a thug, yeah.
Oh, okay. So let's stick with this. You remember that incident that happened with the Miami Dolphins recently with the black player and the white player?
Oh, absolutely.
And the white player was calling the black player the N-word and all that, even though it was in jest. So,
absolutely, they tweeted each other.
Did anybody ever call him a thug?
Did what? Did anybody ever call the white player a thug?
Yeah. Did anybody call him a thug?
I have no idea. I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure who called Sherman a thug. But no, I don't know. But I know that you know, the white player was suspended. By the way, before I knew all the facts, and I can't swear that I did, and I can't swear that I didn't, but I came down on him real hard. I said he's out of his mind. There's something wrong with him. He has a history of being, you know, he was kicked off 2 football teams or suspended from 2 college football teams. He was voted the most hated player in the league. He, you know, and I might have said thug. I don't know, but I would not have not said it because he's white.
No, all I'm trying to say is that I never heard anyone refer to him as a thug. But now they refer to Richard Sherman as a thug. And you're going to tell me that race is not implicated at all?
I don't know. Like you said, I guess it goes to the particular person. But let me play you something here. Here's this is a while ago, several months at least. I'm not sure if it's from this season or a prior season. But here's Richard Sherman with Skip Bayless on ESPN's First Take. And listen to cut 5. This will be cut 5. Listen to Sherman, how he goes after Bayless here. Cut 5.
Skip, whenever you refer to me, whenever you speak to me, whenever you address me as all-pro Stanford graduate, because those are some accomplishments you can aspire to, you will never accomplish. You have never accomplished anything. So, but those things are on my resume. Those are what I've done. It's my 2nd year in the NFL, going on my 3rd. I mean, you tell me who's wrong.
All right, now wait, I'm going to hear. Now here's cut number 7. Let's go to number 7. Same interview.
I am intelligent enough, capable enough to understand that you are ignorant, pompous, egotistical, cretin, and that's really what it comes down to. And I'm going to crush you on here in front of everybody because I'm tired of hearing about it.
I think you're having a problem crushing me because you've avoided every question that we've asked you about why you're engaging in so much trash talk with Revis and Roddy and all the others.
I'm talking to you right now.
All right, now, I don't know what precipitated that. Stephen A. Smith was there also, and he was, like, shaking his head like, what am I hearing? So this is a guy, obviously, thug or not, with a problem.
And so are you suggesting he has anger management problems or anything like that?
I'm suggesting he's a very angry person and disrespectful person, and that what we saw, obviously, if you listen to this, was not an isolated incident. He presented himself in a very, you know, a more dignified manner, but was maybe even more disrespectful in this interview to Skip Bayless than he was to Crabtree in the other interview.
Well, but Skip Bayless is you know, he's a provocateur, and he's known as a provocateur, and a lot of these athletes don't like it. So, I mean, I can understand why Richard Sherman said some of the things he said to Skip Bayless, because Skip Bayless is, quite frankly, very difficult to watch. I watch the show every now and then, and quite frankly, he gets on my nerves every now and then.
All right, but I doubt. I would like to think, Christopher Parker, that you wouldn't use that kind of language and call somebody an ignorant, pompous, egotistical cretin because you don't like him or he gets under your skin, especially on national television.
Probably not on national television, but I've been known to say that and worse from time to time.
Listen, great talking to you, my friend, and we'll speak to you next time. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Steve.
Take care. Professor Christopher Parker, political science professor and professor of social justice, I should say, and political science. Silence. It's easy for me to say, folks.